All right, so welcome to the 2023 March Nutrition Coordinators meeting, and good to see all of you. And today, I think what we're going to do is just do our typical go around the WebEx app here and tell us just what's going on with you, how you've been doing, any challenges that you have, any questions that you want to bring up, any topics you want to discuss, just 2 minutes each. And we'll go ahead and start with, let's see here, Blue Rivers. I think you guys were on first. So Carmen, take it away.
There we go.
There you go.
Okay. Actually, we are doing the same as about always. We have a remodel going on in our Fairbury Senior Center, complete remodel. So that's kind of in a little bit of an uproar right now. Um, I don't know if anybody saw the newspapers, but we were the lucky one of our cooks in our Fall City area. This is our exciting news. Won the Publishers Clearinghouse sweepstakes, $5,000
Wow.
for life. Uh,
Wow.
I was more worried she was going to quit, and so um,
Good for her.
yeah, she might
Wow.
quit. We don't know for sure, but anyway, that was excitement for us. I'm not for sure. We've just got things going on all across the board with centers and so forth. Um, Other than that, Carla, can you think of anything else that we um,
Well, we found someone to do Tai Chi in Hebron, and we're trying to get her contracted to do them in other places. So she's just doing it because she loves it. So we've got to get her roped into a contract. So get it in our and see if she'll go to Beatrice and Fairbury and such. So yeah, and we're still thinking about sending someone to the stepping on in April. I haven't got that tied in yet, but then we would be using our 3D money to pay for that too as well. So yeah, we're trying to work towards those goals. And I think you had some news about an RN and UNL for some nutrition ed, Carmen.
yes, we are for the nutrition ed. We are going to be doing some work with our extension educator uh, here in located in Gage County, but she covers all the counties that we cover. So that is the best news we had. She will be going out and doing some programs at our centers. It won't be until October and November, but they will be on using different appliances in your house, that type of thing. And then she'll go over some nutritional things as well. So we're excited about that. Um, and then hopefully, what we can do with that also is we'll be able to zoom that to some of our smaller centers that don't have the population that our larger centers have for congregate. And then I'm going to be going out and doing some more nutrition ed here, hopefully this spring yet, if time allows. It seems like much more month of March is already half over. Um, and talking about just different things that the seniors can do to balance their diet, increase their fiber, increase their water intake. Um, so that's kind of what we're looking at on that part, along with the Tai Chi and the stepping on. So we're pretty excited about that because we're also hoping maybe we can possibly zoom some of that Tai Chi to some of our other centers as well.
Very good. Yay. That's awesome. That's really good news. On both fronts, Title 3D and 3C Nutrition Ed. That's great. And who was the educator? Is it
It's Tara Dunker.
Tara Dunker? Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, I was thinking not Keela, it's not Keela. It's Tara. Okay. Yes. Very cool. That's wonderful to hear. Yes. She's been at one of some of the Nebraska Academy of Nutrition Dietetics
Mhm. Mhm.
conferences, and so I've seen her. She's another dietitian. So, but that's just great to hear. Yay. Very good. Um, well, any questions for Carmen, Blue Rivers? Awesome. Let's see here. Let's go to, I think Allison, you were on next. I'm just going by order of appearance, I suppose. I don't know. So Allison, you are up at Enoa. I don't think you're muted. Uh-oh. Did we lose her? I think we lost her. That's okay. Wait a minute. There's just Allison.
Oh,
You're,
yeah.
you're up. There you go.
Sorry, I had to switch to laptop because I don't know what's going on with the computer today.
That's okay.
Trying to put together and of course. But everything within our area, I mean, just really getting more into the dynamic between rural and urban, and now it's freezing again.
Oh,
I don't know if you guys can hear me.
yeah, we can hear you. That's okay. I think she may be having some technical difficulties there. How about that? Is that better?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, because it keeps going in and out, and I'm not sure.
It's good. You're good.
But everybody keeps freezing on my end, so I don't know if I'm freezing on your end.
No, no, you're okay.
But we've been working on the dynamic between the urban and the rural within our areas. And one thing that after going through National Nutrition Month, working to have more sending out a
Yeah.
food safety information monthly to all the centers. Just a quick, one-page handout to review with anyone in the kitchen, or the nutrition, obviously, they can share with all of the participants, and really look to partnering with some other abilities to bring some better hands-on information for our participants. We're continuing to work on our forms through Microsoft 365 to help with rolling out this next fiscal year, with having the option to do online intake forms that are more automated and reduce on printing, but also help get information straight into the office, as opposed to faxes, letter or mailings and whatnot. But working with recently budgets and contracts and policies, and have a few questions to ask everybody or Erik about some of the with in conjunction with our, there's the eligibility for age, but do we need or require any activity eligibility information for our activities that we do?
Right. So all Older Americans Act, as far as eligibility goes, is just 60 plus. And so that's really the only thing. Now, as far as the meal side goes, you could be an individual. You could also be eligible if you're the spouse of an eligible individual, and also if you are an individual who has disabilities, but you are living with an individual who is eligible. So as activities go, if an individual is 60 plus, then they would be eligible. So they would be then able to participate all other individuals, could participate to some extent, but they would be considered ineligible because of the funding source that helps make those programs possible. So whether activities, that is the requirement for that Older Americans Act funded source or activity. So does that kind of answer your question? Are you referring to specific activities or?
Kind of, but also in the thought process of, do we need to have something in policies stating that someone would be, say, medically eligible to participate in, or do we need to document if someone were to, I don't know, have a medical issue that shouldn't be participating in a social activity, whether it be Tai Chi or pair volleyball, or do we need to have that documented somewhere that they're medically eligible to participate in those kind of activities?
As far as eligibility with the having some sort of like if they have a disability and they're doing something like Tai Chi and they have a heart condition, really the burden rests on the participant. That's basically something because they may not disclose that. I may have like a condition. I'm doing Tai Chi. I fall down, I pass out or whatever, but I may not tell you my condition. However, as far as eligibility goes, as long as they're 60, that's basically our eligibility threshold there. Now, as far as anything with like, a medical condition or something like that, if they are below 60 and they're like, I need this, but this is what's going on. This is the medical condition. Is there, some sort of waiver? Unless it's like a Medicaid disability waiver or Title 20 or something like that. It's just the 60 plus. And other than that, there's really nothing else that we look at as far as eligibility goes.
Okay, just needed to know for wording update
Okay.
type wordsmithing, whether there was a additional eligibility that needed to be listed. So
No,
that's
no. And
was all.
if there's any other, yeah, and if you have a specific example, like a case, like something happening in the community, because it gets weird. Trust me. There's everybody on this call can think of a time when there was something where something happened and they're like, well, what about this? So no, for sure. If you need to give me a call anytime, Allison, I can talk you through whatever. Doesn't matter the case, the scenario, we can talk about it. But yeah, that's great, especially if you're coming up with a policy or something. Yeah, definitely give us a call and let us know. So awesome. Any other questions or any other comments for Allison and Noah? I know Caitlin's on there. Caitlin, do you have any updates for home delivered meals?
No major updates. We're just plugging along. Fingers crossed. Uh, March 27th, we may be fully staffed if everyone shows up for orientation. So, woohoo!
Yay, that's another round of applause. That's awesome.
Yes. Yeah.
That would be huge in a world of in a world of shortages.
Yeah, I think our Benson position has been open way too long to even say. So, yes, we're very
All right,
excited.
well, we'll knock on wood here.
Yes.
We won't say anything else about it. All right. Very good. All right, very good. Well, any questions for Caitlin at NOA, Home Delivered Meals? All right. Then let's move on to Samantha. I saw you, I think, next. Aeon, how's it going?
Good. The nice weather lately has allowed me to finish seeing sites that I wasn't able to see since being in this position. So that has been fun. I've officially been to all of our sites. We've been working hard on our home delivered criteria and really focusing on that prioritization piece with the state of emergency ending. And we sent out some food surveys in February, and so we've been getting those back, and that's been fun to read through the responses.
I'm sure.
Sometimes we get with the ones that say, like, I like food. I'm like, okay.
Good for you.
Um, and I'm working on having a site manager meeting in a couple of weeks, so that will be fun to get everybody together. I feel like I'm finally getting into my own groove in this position. There's still so much to learn and know, but yeah, things are coming along well, I would say.
Awesome. Very good. Yes, all the little details of everything. So very
Yeah.
good. Awesome. Yeah, well, thank you so much. Any questions for Aeon? Thank you so much. Let's move on to West Central. I saw Angie there. Angie, how's it going?
Hello there. Can you hear me?
Yes. Oh yeah, you're good.
Good. It's going pretty good here. I think our numbers ticked up just a little bit more, but I'm seeing more of an uptick on the congregate, but a little bit of a decrease in the home delivered. So, but we've had a lot of snow days, so to see that uptick in the congregate is a plus because we've had a lot of snow throughout. So, and I'm assuming the downside on the home delivered is because of the snow days. So, yeah. Tai Chi got started. We have one place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good. Yay.
Trying to get a few people to the stepping on in April also.
Nice.
And then we have a few that are doing some online classes for the Tai Chi. So hopefully, knock on wood, we'll get a few more classes up and going on
Hey,
that.
that's awesome. Yeah, that would be great. That's just really good. I have to tell you, seeing this rebound has been really good because, like I said, after the 2 years of COVID, whatever, knock on wood, we descended into darkness, and now maybe we're coming back into the light with some of these classes and things like that. So,
Yes.
yeah, it's definitely much like this across the nation. When I talk to my group of nutrition coordinators online, when we do a national call, it's been like this. So people are starting to come back, starting to start more classes, open up, so that we're very much on par with the trend for the rest of the nation. So, but that's really good to hear, Angie. So
Yeah.
awesome. Awesome. All righty. Well, any other questions for Angie at West Central? All right. If not, we'll move on to Rachel Midland. What's happening?
So, so let's see. We are still training some new staff. I had to replace a county supervisor just a little while back, so I'm kind of back in training mode and looking at the calendar ahead, knowing that vacation mode is coming and everybody. So I'm trying to get little things done here and there. In between that, we have been working really hard. Starting in April 1st, we are going to be kind of tightening our home delivered meal assessments and really, um, trying to determine. I know you started during COVID. Maybe you had COVID. I mean, we have even people who had COVID and that's why they started, and then they're just still just getting meals. And I think, they get used to it. It is convenient. It is nice. Um, and maybe there's just not a whole lot that's pushing them back out into living. And so maybe with some of these, tightening things down, people will come out more and you'll see the centers start growing even more. But most of our center activity is pre-pandemic levels. Um, it depends. It's just some is more depending on the activity and some is less. All of a sudden now everybody's playing pool, whereas everybody was playing shuffleboard before the pandemic. Or, it's just finding out what everybody is wanting to do. We have officially started bingo size. Um, one, two, three, one, two, three. Three counties have bingo size going on as we speak. One county is starting it tomorrow, and then another county is starting it in May. And it is, everybody's loving it. It's all the rage right now. We had one center that started off with one person who came to the first class, and then she went out and begged a couple of other people, just try it. Can you just come? And they came, and now her class is up to 9 people. So
Good.
the word is getting out. They're saying it's fun. They're saying, look at this totally awesome color changing toilet bowl light. Although I got to tell you, Eric, that is the least picked bingo prize out there. I don't understand. I want a
Yeah.
changing colored
I want
toilet
the toilet light. Yep. That is
light.
awesome. That is
But so
awesome.
that's going really good. Everything's kind of just flowing really nice right now. I'm a knock on wood and just
Good.
trying to get everything situated and getting everybody. So it's funny because a lot of the staff now were all hired during the pandemic. So they don't remember what life was like before the pandemic. They've been doing this pandemic mode their whole time they've been with us. And so then when I say, okay, well, now you have to go out into the world and do these things, and they're like, oh, why? I was like, oh, because that's how it's supposed to be done.
That's how you're supposed to do it. Yes.
They're like, well, I've
Just the
never done
detail.
that. Well,
The
it's part of the
detailing.
job. Let's figure it out.
Oh, that's funny. That's actually really good. Yeah, no, for sure. For 2 years, you're kind of doing like, yeah, no, just been maintaining this and that, and then all of a sudden, people are like, no, you got actually got to go there now. Yeah, so that's awesome. Well, and congratulations on the bingo size, and thank you for reporting back to us on that and its success. And yeah, if anyone has questions, please refer to Rachel for, bingo size. She's definitely done. Yeah, that was really cool how you were able to start that, and people took it and got interested, and the word of mouth spread, and people are more involved. So that's good
Well,
to
and I
hear.
know Carmen asked about, since it has the online platform, can you from your office do it to any of your counties? And the answer is yes.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you had one central person at the office who did a digital format for anybody to join on in any of your service area, you could do that.
Yeah, that's another pandemic silver lining. After that, 3D was like, well, look, this isn't going to survive if it's just going to be in person every time. We have to branch out. We have to use technology. They are forced into that, which is great
And
because now you can do it
they
online.
even have a way where, I'm just using you as an example, Carmen. This doesn't mean you're going to be the facilitator, okay? But let's say you're the facilitator in office and your center as a group gets on, and your site supervisor would be the one responsible for making sure that they're kind of doing the exercises okay. So if you have someone monitoring a group of people at each of those centers, you could have all the centers log on every Tuesday and Thursday from 1 to 2, and you could be the one to provide the service. Or you can train your site supervisors to lead their own classes.
If you do that, then one license, or do I need 8 licenses?
One license for you to be the instructor.
Instructor. Okay. Thank you.
Right. And I think that was the big question, is wanting to know how many. Do you have to multiply the licenses, or is just one? If just one, that's even better. I mean, and then doing multiple sites from one location.
And what's even nice, so if you have bigger areas where you have 2 or 3 sites, maybe you can have your site supervisor trained on it and have them do, oh, this person did the Regency, the towers, and this while they were at the senior center, and those people could log on remotely. So it's I don't know. We haven't done any of the digital piece yet. Someday maybe, but it is doable.
Yeah.
I don't know how they get prizes either.
Mail them. I don't know. You pick and we'll mail them to you. That's funny. Well, that's really cool. Good to hear. It's really neat to see the use of technology that's available, and the possibilities that we can use for some of the stuff going forward. So, yay.
I do
Uh,
have one more question though.
yeah.
I am trying to not simplify. Our home delivered meal eligibility sheet is very simple. But then I'm running into a lot of the site supervisors saying, well, how do you know that they're eligible? Which I know is there's so many layers and stacks, but I was wondering if I could see other people's eligibility, like what they use to determine people.
Yeah, if you guys want to share it with, if you guys want to just, you can email it between each other if you want, or hold it up to the screen. Carmen. Um,
Ours is one sheet. And is that what you're thinking? Or are you thinking
Yeah,
it's
ours is one sheet too, but I don't know, does anyone else's say, okay, so if they answer this kind of question, then what do you ask? Yeah, I mean, I want it to be, here's what you ask, and I don't know, I guess I don't want to say dumbed down. That's not what I mean, but I want it simplified and understandable so that they can say, okay, this person can go get their groceries, but they have no idea how to use a stove anymore, or, all these little, I don't know. I'm probably
Wanted lower
over.
barriers.
Yes.
yeah, for sure. That's a good, yeah, that's a good example.
I think
I
if it
think,
gets more technical, don't you think you should include care management maybe in there? Otherwise, in our very rural communities, so many of our directors know the individuals. And I shouldn't even mention this because it's kind of a personal, not personal, but it's up to the center directors as we don't directly run them. But, some of them, they probably could go, could come into the center. But when the center director is delivering X amount of, or not really even the center director, an individual from a particular center is delivering all these meals over to, a different town where there is people that definitely are homebound, and there's a few extra that sometimes they, order a meal if it just helps the center. Plus, then, I don't know, it's one of those catch-22. Darn if you do and darn if you don't on some. It used to be back in the dark ages, we had a doctor's, order. And then some doctors said everybody could get a meal, but we kind of put it, if there was a question, we had care management. And then some of it we leave up to the director. And some of it is just plain good for the center to have that if they have that capability, And then maybe I've been here too long on some of that respect, but, you got to look at kind of your location and how many they're delivering, and what's a couple more too,
yeah, for sure. And that's a really good
Nobody
point.
hung up, so I guess
No,
I
that's,
didn't get
no,
shot
no.
down on that. But I hate to say it's kind of the unspeakable truth that you don't want to mention, but it's kind of how it is, kind of in a location or two, or at least I know one. What do you do? And we're talking out in the true sticks, in a
Yeah.
very rural community. So I
Yes.
don't know.
Yeah. So
And
I
I'm
think,
talking more about, they're not urban, but they're more urban than the sticks version of meals.
I hate
But
to say that, but very rural community. I hate to say sticks,
yeah.
but there's
right,
like
so, but
nothing,
I'm
no
talking about a
grocery, nothing
larger
there.
area
Okay.
where you have only so much, and you're trying to decrease who is and who isn't, and what.
What I think what we'll do, is and that's actually on one of our agenda items today after our round robin. Let's continue. Well, let's continue that. I'm going to show you a couple things with service prioritization, and there's some really good guidance from the Nutrition Resource Center, and that will help you too, Rachel, to maybe kind of put together something a little bit more efficient. If you want to take samples and stuff from other area agencies, and I can also show you the NSI score. There's also the NSI scores pathway that was given to us by Nutrition Resource Center too. I'll show you those things here in just a few minutes, and we can dive more into that here in just a second. But no, that's what you're talking about right now is definitely leading us into our next segment. So. No, but that's perfect. And yeah, and Sue, that was good information too, getting more information, having that available, and that's also good for care management as well. So yeah, especially if it's more needs. People have a lot more complicated needs, or there's a lot more different things that they need. So that's very good. Yeah. Very good. Okay, we'll get right back to you here in just a minute, Rachel. Any other questions for Midland? All right. If not, then let's move on. Sue, you were just on. Let's move to Sue at South Central. What's going on?
Just good, thanks. You know, the weather, well, of course, supposed to be crappy tomorrow, but it's feeling beautiful today. All in all, I think the centers are doing a good job. Are you just wanting on the home delivered, or are you wanting the
Oh, just yeah, just
whole thing? Just
basically
kind of
how
a
things are going. Yeah, any
okay.
fluctuations in numbers
Okay.
or just
I think things are going good. We do have a few changes here and there. Looking for a different director in one, and then did have some changes in another center, but we had another director hired there for quite a while, so that was a good thing. I think what we've been doing lately is trying to make sure that all of our home delivered meal assessments, getting the checked on the temperature business, you know, to make sure that that food is, you know, getting portioned out when it's red hot and getting delivered right away. It's not waiting for somebody to come pick that up, you know, that gets shipped out right away. Well, a couple of our senior centers have gotten some grants, and I can't even speak intelligently on that because I don't know who exactly, if it was through the mayor or something. It happened to be Comstock for one of them in Ravenna, and I don't know if it was through I don't know exactly who they got this money from, but I mean, they got a sizable ton of money. I'm not joking, like a ton of money. So, you know, some of them are looking at, I mean, it has to do with anything, maybe it's economic development, I'm not positive, but anyway, it has to do with they have to purchase food, you know, something for the center, like the food or to do with that meal program. So, you know, Carol's in Comstock is even looking at ways to, she has a nice home delivered meal system, but she's looking at maybe, you know, upgrading that totally to, you know, where it plugs in, everything, just really looking at that all in all. And then, you know, she can, I mean, it's like she has to spend so much money. I don't think it's going to be possible. And I shouldn't say that because usually anybody can spend money, but this is totally quite a large amount. And Eric, refresh my memory on this. If they want to get, say, meat from a locker, the locker has to be USDA inspected, certified. Is that
yeah,
right? Is there
yeah,
any other catches
correct.
with that? Because I told her as long as that met
Yeah.
that criteria, they could order, and maybe if they had problems with storage, that it could be, you know, kept at the locker under certain guidelines. Is that
Well,
okay?
that's mostly it's got to be under its Department of Agriculture because since it's using federal money, they want, you know, yeah, any sort of, you know, basically when it leaves a facility or a vendor that is inspected and then goes to your facility, then that's basically where, you know, it leaves an inspected facility or a vendor, and then it goes to a place that is being prepped or served. So, are you talking about like if it's going from like a vendor to a place that isn't served and just like a
Well, actually,
storage
what it is
place?
they have all this money that they need to order, and I told her she was wondering about meat and things, and I says, well, as long as they are inspected and they are certified, you know, like you
Hmm.
have to buy all of your meat, you know. And I said maybe in with this locker, I said maybe they have storage space that you could keep it there where she has to spend all this money. I mean,
Right,
you know,
right, right.
unbelievable. You know, that maybe
For
you could
sure.
keep it stored there, you
Yeah,
know.
for storage purposes. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
so I
If
told her
they're
I
a
thought that
facility
was
that
the
is,
only if,
yeah.
and you know, of course, with all this other dollars floating around, you know, centers have been upgrading to, you know, new equipment, just getting about everything you can. And you know, but the thing is, with the smaller facility too, you have to worry about space
Hmm.
that they have there as well. But otherwise, everything seems to be going good. I plan to do my high blood pressure at Southview Apartments, you know,
Oh, good. Very
low
good.
income housing. I was going to do it at Peterson, but just did not have enough signed up. And I don't know if it was
Really?
just a bad time. Yeah,
Huh.
but you know what? It seems like the larger ones. I don't know, you know, here in Kearney, although Southview's in Kearney too. So I don't know if it's because, you know, they maybe just you know, just figure they have their physicians, they have, you know, their doctors right there or what. But um, then I think I mentioned last time that we did get a enter into agreement with the Heart Association that will be getting dollars to purchase the blood pressure cuffs and the couple hub
Oh,
stations
yeah.
that's
Mhm.
for Buffalo County. So that's all been handled, except we're just waiting for the money to arrive, and then when it does, then we will pick out the ones that are the right kind to
Oh,
buy
wonderful. Yep.
for the people. So that'll be starting. I think they told me at Southview there'd probably be 15 people. So that's wonderful. Other than that, just people are. I think we're anxious for spring and to just get more going.
Awesome. Awesome. That sounds great. Well, that'd be really good with the blood pressure clinic and things like that. The evidence-based program for blood pressure, that will be really good. That's a newer one, and there's a lot of different things that go into that are awesome. So thank you so much. Any questions for South
You're
Central?
so welcome.
If not, we'll move on to Aging Partners. Jill.
Hi.
Hi.
Things are going well here. Our meal numbers have stayed pretty consistent, so that's been good. We are planning for our offices to move mid to end of April. So we have been working with a caterer to provide meals while our kitchen is being moved. So during that transition process. So that's been good. Um, let's see. I'm hosting an all-staff training next month with all of our counties and the senior centers within their counties. So I did get a ServSafe instructor to come out to teach the ServSafe class. So all 30 people will then be certified in their food handler's permit. So we're excited for that. We are still working to distribute our shelf-stable meals, and we start a Living Well with Chronic Conditions class next week.
Oh, wonderful. Hey, that's great news. Very good to hear. Yeah, living well, getting that back in the mix. Awesome. Yeah, and that'll be exciting, you guys. I know the move has been coming. That has just, yeah, been in the works. So that'll that'll be good. Very good, Jill. Any questions for Aging Partners? All right, and then last but not least, Northeast. Is Lori there for Northeast?
Yep, it's Kayla, Connie, and Lori.
Hello.
Hello. Nothing new we don't have much going on with our senior centers. Our meal numbers did increase last month, which was great, even though it was a short month. We do have some senior centers who are struggling financially. So we're trying to help them through those situations. Either financially, or we have, I know one for sure that's struggling with staffing a manager position. Other than that, nothing else is new here. We're just kind of plugging along. I did have a question I wanted to pose to the rest of the group, and this came from a senior center, is what are your guys' go-to options when clients ask you to leave their meal, like on the porch, in a cooler? Maybe we'll just walk into their home and just leave it on their table. How do you explain to those participants or clients that just usually can't happen?
For ANOA, we tell the client that food safety wise, we can't leave the meal. They'll say, well, we have a cooler or whatever the case may be, but we just remind them that policy is that we need to give the meal to them. One suggestion that was made at the Meals on Wheels America conference was to say that the health department would not allow us to leave it, food safety wise. That seemed to be really work for them, was saying that the health department wouldn't allow it. Throw them under the bus.
Don't take my word for it.
I guess my theory is we have the same issue. People want us to leave it and so forth. And I'm like thinking, if you can't be there to receive the meal, then you're obviously out and about. So then my theory is you should come to the senior center and not get a home delivered meal. But that is, we struggle with the same thing. You have some people that are just like, hey, I'm going to be at a doctor's office. It's really hard. We just try and tell them, hey, we cannot leave a meal. It's against regulations.
Exactly. And honestly, if you were a pizza place, if you're a Pizza Hut delivering pizza, you're not gonna do that either. So
And I will speak up to having eyes on that person every time you deliver a meal is really important.
Yes.
safety check,
I always
part
tell
of
them,
it.
I tell them to say, this isn't just a meal delivery, it's a wellness check. It's all part of a plan that was put in place to help keep you in your home. And so if you're in need of these home delivered meals, you have to be home so we can bring them to you.
If they do go to the doctors and they're going to be late, have them swing by the center and pick one up on it to go.
Yeah, that's a great one, Angie.
Yes. Unfortunately, we've said all of this to this one particular senior center, and they seem not receptive to our answers.
Yep.
So
Well, if it's any consolation, this is Carmen with Blue Rivers. These senior centers, especially in your small rural communities, tend to get pretty set in their ways of how they do things. Trust me, I'm remodeling. The city's remodeling Fairbury, and oh my, they want to keep everything. They don't want to. They don't want to modernize. So I get it. The one thing that we do sometimes, though, and I don't know, Carla, shut your ears if you're still listening. We do have some people. We have one lady, I'll just say in Weimar. She is not very mobile at all, but it's one way for us to check on her every day. And her door is open, and we go in and we talk with her, and we set that right on her TV tray, right in front of her, because she is home every day, unless she's at a doctor's appointment. So we don't leave it outside. We do go in and visit with them, so that, because she's very susceptible to falls, and it works out that way. So yes, we do go in the door sometimes.
Yeah, that's good.
To do that part. But anyway, yes, senior centers are very, very challenged to change. And it's hard to get that change across.
That's a good point you brought up, Carmen, too, with Older Americans Act does encourage, even with home delivered meals, nutrition education for it. So honestly, if you had all the time in the world as a delivery driver, you could go in and give nutrition education while they're eating their meal. Obviously, that's not ideal, then nor is that feasible. But yeah, no, for sure, you could be a delivery driver going in, setting it down, helping them out, and saying, hey, by the way, here's some information. And yeah, so for sure, that personal touch really helps, especially with the safety check. And yeah, that's exactly why they're home delivered meals. Does that help you?
Yep.
Yeah. Any other questions for Northeast? Okay, well, let's get moving here. I've got a couple agenda items here to end on. Now, we talked a little bit about, I'm going to share my screen here. And we talked about service prioritization and, okay, can everybody see that? All right, so this is a really good point. And if you go to the nutrition, oh my gosh, I'm drawing a blank right now. Nutrition Resource Center. You could just Google it if you want. Nutrition Resource Center, and you look at and even type in their search bar like service prioritization. They've got some handy tools that talk about participating in some of these programs. So especially for prioritizing home delivered meals, there's some information on what to consider, screening tips. So although someone is eligible at 60, service prioritization talks more about utilizing resources in a more responsible way. Okay. So some things to consider when you're screening, what's a little bit more similar. ADLs, IADLs, a malnutrition screening tool, or the NSI screening tool, like your determined checklist, checking for food security, any other transportation access, if they're having trouble with that, maybe they just don't drive, things that you may have already on your list, on your sheets. Okay, so these tools, and I'm not going to read all the way through them, but in some places, and when we talk to our national ACL Nutrition Resource Center meetings, some places in bigger cities actually have waiting lists. And so they, although individuals may be 60, it doesn't necessarily guarantee you that you're going to get the service. We're very lucky here in Nebraska because we're able to provide services to most everyone. However, if you're in an area with millions of people, you actually can be placed on a wait list, even if you're eligible. So it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get that. And so when they talk about that, they assign people depending on some of these certain things. Okay. And also, we did have a question just come through. One of the area agencies on aging in Idaho. Uh, she's a nutrition coordinator. She just sent us all an email wanting to know about getting some feedback for doing more service prioritization for home delivered meals, because I think that what they're doing is they're faced with the same situation many of you are in, with people who were getting home delivered meals during the time of COVID because they didn't want to either go out of their house or they had COVID, et cetera, et cetera. But now, they maybe are eligible 60 plus. However, if they're continuing to get the meals, but they're, hey, leave it, I'm gonna go shopping, leave it at my on my doorstep, and or put it in a cooler, or I'm out and about, or sometimes I'm gonna do this and that, so I'll be gone. They're not necessarily homebound, although you have the 60 plus. We want to prioritize the services so that the use of funding for Title C2 is more appropriate. And these are some of the things that we can look at. And there's also a elements for sustainability guide for prioritizing clients. There's a whole manual on it. And this ensures that individuals are being somewhat intended to appropriately, because it's saying what's the purpose of the program. Well, it's not only to promote socialization, it's also to help prevent food insecurity and also help keep people at homes. And these are the prioritizations. And these are some of the things that we talked about when we did monitoring. And they were on the monitoring tools, and we talked about, what do you have in your policies? And when you go out in the community and you're looking for individuals to assist first, what is your prioritization? It's for people who, and it's right out of the Older Americans Act, low income, minority groups, rural communities, limited English proficiency. Those are the kind of the individuals who are more at risk. And so trying to fill in those gaps first is really important, especially with homebound individuals who are already at home. They can't get to the senior center. Taking a look at some of this criteria right here is really important to give them a suggestion on what might be the most appropriate means for participating in these programs. Okay, so if you go through go through some of these documents here, you'll definitely find, we'll get to that here in a second, you'll definitely find some language that you may be able to use in regard to like high priority, medium priority, low priority, and whatnot. So like this was taken from the Ohio prioritization for individuals, but it's back in 2020. So this is somebody who is, like you were talking about, rural areas, geographically isolated. Are they living alone? Are they medically fragile? What other additional factors are there in addition to their eligibility? Okay, you may be eligible, but if I have one person who is not leaving their house, and in fact, they need you to go in and put it on their TV tray for them, that's the only meal a day. That compared with somebody who is going to eat their meal and then going to go hang out at the senior center anyways for cards. Yeah, there's definitely some prioritization there that could take place. And that's where we leave it up to you to make that determination. Okay. So this is a great document to review and to look at. And we'll leave it up to you guys to look at, but I'll send this doc. Actually, you know what? This one's a little bit big. I will send out the link. I'll send you the link for the Nutrition Resource Center where you can click on it, and then you can navigate through there, and you might find other resources as well. So I'll send you the link, and then you can take it from there. I also wanted to show you, before we talk about, how are we doing on time? Okay, let me go quick. I also wanted to show you, this link will also be there. This is the determine tool. Okay. This is the enhanced pathways question determine tool. Okay. And this can give you some information. We've talked about this before, so this is nothing new, but when they do fill out something like this is something that you can use. And again, this is just a couple clicks away on the Nutrition Resource Center. And it will provide you with information. So if you were talking to someone who definitely needs high priority, and they fill out their determine tool questionnaire, the NSI score tool, and you go back in there and you want to know a little bit more about them, you can also ask them some follow-up questions. And if this is something where care management is looking into, this gives you a guide and essentially shows you what may come next. What's a person-centered plan? Okay. So this is just kind of like a reference for each question, gives you like a checklist to go through, and just gives you ideas on how to best handle or help an individual. There's even one for the malnutrition, the MST score. And this is something that's actually separate from the determine tool. This is another screening tool. We don't require it. It's not part of our requirements, but some places do use it. It's the MST score, and it's actually specifically for malnutrition screening. So, and that's up to you guys to use if you feel like that's something you want to adopt. It's nothing that's required by us, but a lot of hospitals do it or whatnot. But it's kind of handy because it's tacked on to this determine tool question. And this is not something that we developed. This was something that came from Wisconsin, but it was shared by the Nutrition Resource Center, and then they got permission. They posted it on their website, and everybody was happy. So yeah, there's a lot of information here. So if you ever have references or want to know more details about, the NSI score and want to follow up with that, that will help narrow things down a little bit for individuals. I think when we talk about prioritization, okay, because you can only do so much and you can only handle so much with, number one, your delivery drivers, the amount of individuals that you can serve, and even just the time that takes to go on the delivery route. If you have more people on your route, and some of those people would be better served if they came and got to-go meals, or if they came and did congregate meals, that would make the use of funds and the programming more efficient. Okay. I will send you the link on that. All right. We don't have much time left, but I want to I want to talk to you a little bit. This has been a really great discussion, by the way. And I'm just going to mention a few things here, and if people have questions, we can answer them at the end. So first of all, does that kind of answer a little bit of questions on the service prioritization? I assume yes. Okay.
Sure.
If it doesn't, let me know. If that doesn't make sense, let me know. Okay. Next is going to be information on to-go meals. So when we talked about to-go meals, we talked a little bit about the next steps going into developing your new services. So home delivered meals, or the COVID-19 home delivered meals, and like COVID-19 to-go meals, all those different things obviously are going to change. Okay. And home delivered meals obviously won't change, congregate meals won't change. But with the example of like to-go meals, that's going to be something that obviously is new. So June 2023, this year, which will be here before you know it, is when the COVID-19 to-go meals, COVID-19 home delivered meals, etc. Those services are the last month, and then we'll need a new event profile for to-go meals. Okay. Now, I wasn't quite sure how many other questions you had. I know Amy, you're on the call as well, so thank you for chiming in. But I just wanted to segue from service prioritization and individuals who have been receiving meals. Maybe to-go meals could be a better situation for them, a better viable option. And so when you're thinking about to-go meals and promoting it and telling individuals what it is, you can talk to them about the new program reference guide 2.0 description and give them the eligibility, let them know that obviously it's the same thing as, you know, getting your home it's going to count as a home delivered meal ultimately, but it will be a to-go meal where you can come in, you're 60 years old. Obviously, here's the other eligible criteria, and this is what it's going to be. Okay, so I think one of the things that may help is just educating some of those individuals. I know, like Rachel, you were talking about going through and finding some of those individuals who maybe were receiving home delivered meals and reassessing them and saying, where are you at now? And then plugging this new service. So that's something that I think can really help. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing my screen here.
Erik, I have a question about the to-go meals that we have encountered and we're trying to figure out here. Will we need to keep the contributions separate for the to-go meals versus the home delivered meals versus the congregate meals? Because when they're coming to the center to donate and put their money in the box, will we have to have a different box for the to-go meals?
Right. So your congregate meals and your home delivered meals, two different things. But the to-go meals and home delivered meals are essentially C2. Okay. So I would say with the books, keeping those separate would be, because they are separate, congregate meals and home delivered meals, just like you would if you received contributions from home delivered meals, same thing. So those two things would be different. Yes, I would say so. Yes, that would be
Because we're telling them they need to pay for it at time of pickup. Basically, some of them will put in if they're getting all meals every day, they'll give you, put a check in for all of them, but it's all going in the same box. So right now that's not quite as big of an issue, but it could be. I mean, it really is. So we're toying with the idea of 2 donation boxes versus also giving all to-go people a little bitty envelope to put their donation in. And then when those get put into the donation box, we know that those are to-go meal.
Yeah, I would say, yeah, that's a great question, Carla. And I would say down the road, especially as this, picks up a little bit more, being able to just kind of know separately on the books, what your congregate meal crowd is giving you and how much contributions you get in that, as opposed to your to-goes. Even if you put it down in the books and they're in this, even if they were in the same column, you still want to know, what am I getting for congregate meals and what am I getting for to-goes? That way that the numbers that you're ticking on to-goes and, matches. And if you're doing like the envelopes match the number of meals that you did. And, that's not always going to add up because some people may not give a contribution to. But I guess just for simple bookkeeping, that would be best practice.
Those are like some good ideas, Carla.
Those are good ideas.
At our bigger centers especially.
We feel like there's going to be a Form A on it, so we need to be able to track it. And like you say, those to-go meals are definitely not congregate meals, so they're
correct.
I always think, okay, what would the auditor of a public account say? Okay, we've got to keep this separate and the cost of the allocation of it. So, it's a true concern. So
yeah, that's smart.
Which side it's at in our places, Carla, we have 2 donation boxes and we tried to kind of separate the place where they pick those up so that the to-go people were going to the to-go section where the box was and doing the best we could to keep the money separate. Now there's times that they walk in and see the box to the left and put their money in the left and then walk to the right, but
Right.
it generally stays split up pretty good.
And the site managers do a pretty good job of tracking it. They know who their to-goes are, and the people will hand them the money. So, I mean, on their cash contribution sheet, we have that to-go column, but they aren't all as good as some of them are. If that makes sense.
Right.
So, we work hard trying to get it designated. So.
Yeah, that's right. That's really good. And Carla, those are great points. And you have to also remember that it's been since it was under, I think it was the Nixon administration. LBJ signed it, but it wasn't until the Nixon administration until the senior center was actually opened. So it's been a few years. It's been a few years just doing congregate contributions. So this is kind of a new thing, it's kind of a new thing with to-goes, and not all states are doing them. But we're a I think we're ahead of the curve on this. We really are, because this is keeping more meals coming, more people involved, and it's keeping the things going. And so I'm really glad that you guys are deciding to do that. And so, yeah, we'll have to come up with some different practices, and, whatever works for one place may not work for the other, but, bring forth your best practices on all this stuff and share ideas. And I think that really helps. So great great idea, Carla. Thank you. All right. Well, we are past our hour here, but does anybody have any questions or anything? Oh, one thing I wanted to mention real quick before you guys go is that I would like to do a senior farmers market coupon meeting separate. I'll send out a Survey Monkey on that to you guys, and let's come up with the date. I'm getting the envelopes in. I guess it's hard to predict any of this stuff. He asked when the envelopes are coming. They're coming like this week sometime. I don't know where I'm going to put them. I thought they weren't coming until May. So, anyways, there is a new printer, which is good. They don't have to sign the coupons this year, which is good too. There's a new QR code thing that they can do where the individuals, where the vendors can scan it and get reimbursed right away. So that's new. There's also a new thing where you can go online and log all of the individuals, recipients, and their coupon ranges online. We could maybe do that if everybody was on board with it. It has to be everybody, though. The bank could maybe take us through a tutorial and we can actually log that stuff online. But we'll talk about that later. It's just some food for thought. I will send out a Survey Monkey and we'll do that. So yes, Carly, you have one more question.
I have one more comment, and it's so I don't forget it.
Sure, yeah, go ahead.
An agenda item for April is to discuss what centers are doing for Older Americans Month in May.
Oh, very good. Yeah, that's a great question. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Let's do that. That's wonderful. I know we're supposed to be doing promotion here. One of our walls has been taken out, so we got to get going on that. But yeah, that'll be here before we know it. So, yeah, good. I will definitely put that on there. All right, folks. I'm gonna hit stop recording now. So thank you.